Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with episode 17 of the PoffCast. My name is Mr. Topher, and alongside me, as always, I have Mr. Bobbito, and we do have another special guest with LAD UnRationaL. What a day, boys. How's it going today?
Mr. Topher, not doing too bad. This is the first time I've worked in a couple of days. Big Bob has COVID.
Ooh, Bobby, this isn't work, man. You cannot call this work. This is just hanging out with Mr. Topher. You know better than that.
Yeah, we got a couple beers hanging out here with Big Gare Bear.
A
Gary
couple
flew in from the
beers.
West Coast, dude. We're big chilling, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
pulled
so-
me out in the early AM. The early AM.
Well, you were streaming last night. So what time did you go to bed on the West Coast?
So I ended up getting off at like 1:30 AM ish.
Nice.
Not like super late, but still waking up at 9.
Oh, Gary, then you get in bed and lay and watch TikToks and you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you probably didn't go to sleep till what, like 4 or 5?
No. I had some like melatonin. I was probably out by like 2:30. I need my TTT, my TikTok time.
TikTok time. That's a new one.
I just made that up actually.
Oh my! I'm telling you, boys, we're gonna clip that. That's gonna be one of the first things that we post on IG because that TTT is gonna go viral. I love it. I love it.
Jesus.
All right, man. Well, we gotta jump into this because what is your name? I mean, everyone's posting. It's Gavin on Rational. Walk me through that because I didn't even know how to introduce you coming onto the podcast.
Yeah, so my actual name is Gavin. I go by Gavin in person usually. In the gaming world, some people know me as Gary. Some people still call me Gavin. Very few people will call me UnRationaL. My actual like alias name is LAG UnRationaL because I'm signed to the Los Angeles Gorillas. UnRationaL is my alias, but people call me Gary based off back when I played S&D, and you could kind of make like your team names and whatnot. Me and one of my buddies always made our team names Gary Come Home, and we had like Gary in our clan tag, and I don't know how it came about, but
I think it was Tupac, right?
yeah, Tupac started calling me Gary based off my clan tag. I think it was just easier to read my clan tag than my actual name when we were like actually playing, and he streamed to hundreds of people, and I think everybody just kind of caught on and started calling me Gary because he was calling me Gary, right? It's just one of those things where stuff just picks up, like if somebody's calling Bob Robert, then I'm going to be calling Bob Robert, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You call him Big Bob. That's what we call him.
Big Bob, exactly.
Well, dude, and the quick call outs, dude. I mean, like, I don't know. Bob is just so easy to call out, and sometimes just Gary comes out faster than Gavin, maybe. So I don't know.
Exactly.
But you got the big UnRationaL sign behind you. So I mean, like that's pretty much what I would bank on calling you. I mean, is that behind you during streams?
Yeah, so yeah, that's behind me during the streams. But at the same time, everybody that I'm playing with usually is calling me Gary, so they're hearing that, and like I think a lot of people inside streams want to be on a more personal level as they like start watching streamers more and stuff. So
That makes sense.
I have noticed like hardly anybody really calls me UnRationaL, and when people do call me UnRationaL, it's almost weird to me, like because I never hear it.
That's so interesting. So I need a final decision right now. What does Mr. Topher call you?
I Gavin is my preferred name. Gavin is my preferred name, but you can call me it whatever you want.
I'm just going to throw in another name. I'm just going to call you G. Just it's got a G in the beginning, so I'll just call you G, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, Gavin,
I like
Gary,
that.
Jeremiah, Todd, Kevin, Derek,
Todd works. Phil. Phil's pretty good too.
Phil. Yeah,
We could just keep going through it, but
we can go
I'll-
on and on.
yeah. Look how long we can talk about a name, but I want to kind of go into growing up and kind of where you grew up and give me a little bit of a background on you, Gavin.
Yeah, okay. I am down. Yeah. So I grew up in an area in like a small town in Washington called Tacoma, Washington. The area's kind of grown a lot recently for the last like 20 years, 30 years, ever since I've been a child, it's changed drastically. I went to a private school growing up. And so I kind of had like there was only like 200 people in our school the first like 5 months, and it was like, or sorry, for the first 5 years of my school there was only like 200 to 300 people. So it was definitely a different experience as opposed to growing up going to public school with like a bunch of people, and like they're very strict on you, and everything was really weird. and I feel like that kind of caused me more to rebel in my earlier days.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
interesting. Well, it's
Yeah.
kind of, well,
Come on.
Big Bob, I mean, you're from Charlotte. You still live in Charlotte. You went to a private school as well. So,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that's kind of interesting, just putting those two together right out of the
Yeah.
bat. So that's interesting. And so then kind of keep going through kind of growing up and a little more about that.
So yeah, after that, I always played like Little League growing up. All throughout fifth grade, all up until fifth grade, probably like third grade through fifth grade, I played Little League. And then we went to middle school, and I swapped to Select League as I went to middle school, and I also was swapping to public school as I was in middle school as well. So my first like public school experience was sixth grade, and then there's probably like 800 900 people just between sixth to eighth grade, which was like such a huge difference for me, being like 200 300 people between six grades total.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that was my first like public school experience, and then I started like I was playing baseball outside of school. That was kind of like a year round thing almost, because I played like select ball, and then I'd play fall ball as well. um so I was definitely always athletic, always in like the gym, back and forth. I always did like at home workouts for the most part, besides actually being in the gym actually, during middle school. But a big part of my life was always like working out, or baseball, or I didn't really take school too seriously. um
I can relate
I,
to that.
yeah, like I was always smart, and I could always do well in my tests, but it wasn't because I applied myself. It was just because I got lucky, I guess. Like I don't know. I just have one of those like natural abilities to be able to blow stuff off really easily and still kind of do good at it. And it's not a good thing whatsoever. Makes horrible habits, but that's just how it happened. And I know there's a lot of people that can relate to that.
Oh yeah,
A lot of
you're doing quite well for yourself. But a quick interesting fact: when I was in eighth grade, Bobby was my tutor for math class.
Oh.
So Big Bob was leading me down the way, and he was my tutor. I would go over there; he would help me out. Hey, when he wanted to, he knew how to be really good at school. Honestly, he was pretty
Yeah.
smart
All
when he
about
wanted to.
applying
Bob's a smart
yourself,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so everyone always knows the story that Bobby would, or just understanding that Bobby growing up, he would literally stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning gaming. And then he would wake up at 6 a.m. and then he would go to class. I mean, what about gaming growing up? I mean, it seems like you had a lot of sports going on. So were you gaming as much when you were growing up?
Yeah, actually it was. So even I don't know. I want to say I started in like 2010 was when I started taking gaming seriously.
Like was it Modern Warfare 2 or 3?
Modern Warfare 2. So I think it was 2010. But so
Sounds right.
let's start with my first video game ever was Call of Duty 4. Besides like the N64 when I randomly like hop on with my brother, but my first game that I actually was playing consistently, that wasn't just me hopping on like my brother's gaming systems or whatever. Like my own console, own game, was Call of Duty 4. And like that's kind of what started everything. Um I've always been super into Call of Duty, like ever since I had a console or anything. And in like 2010, I asked my mom for an HD PVR for my birthday. And so I got that, and I was doing YouTube videos, trick shotting, basically. So I would be like grinding with some of my buddies, and we'd get like what we call a six man, have six of us go into search and destroy together, kill five of the people, and then try to trick shot last person. And we'd put together YouTube videos of us like hitting these trick shots and like try to progressively climb throughout these teams. And I did this for like 5 years, and then I stopped after like 5 years of trick shotting. I stopped and started doing game battles in well, I did league play and stuff in like Black Ops 2, but I didn't start doing like game battles and stuff till about 2017 or 2018. It was Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. Um, and that's when I started doing like game battles, and then started playing for money and getting into like competitive S&D. Search and Destroy. And that's how I started making my name for myself, was playing Search and Destroy. I met lots of cool people. For example, Tupac, the Atlanta FaZe coach, the Atlanta FaZe S&D coach, Search and Destroy coach. And he's like kind of who got me into streaming as well, because there wasn't too many S&D streamers at the time either. So I always watched him. He was one of my like best buddies up until or starting in like 2019. MW 2019 is when I'd say I became close with him. But I mean, I'll never forget it too. I was like saving up for a PC so that I could start streaming, and then he had a hell of a night. He had an amazing night. And I was down like $300 or something. He's like, "Yo, what's your Cash App?" And he sent me freaking $300 that I had lost that day so that I could buy my PC still.
Wow.
So that I could start streaming. So that's kind of like, he's like my COD father, I guess, or like my streaming father, right? Whatever it'd be called.
Bro, dude, Gary, can I interrupt you for 1 second, bro? Dude, tell the story about TP like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
bro, this story, I just remember this story. This is actually unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wait,
so
you gotta listen to this for 1 second, Topher.
So weird. So you know who TP is, right, Topher?
Yep.
Okay, so I used to grind Black Ops 2 League play. And what is this, Bob? 2012?
Black Ops 2 League play. That was that was probably 2011 or 20 or one of those years, right after Modern Warfare. Yeah.
Yeah, so around like 10 years ago, right?
Like literally 10 years ago.
Around like 10 years ago. And I'm playing League play with my buddies like we always do. We'd like 3 stacks, so there'd be me and 2 of my buddies, and we'd like grinding, because we'd always try to grind for Master Rank 1 was like our main goal. There's this like one time we got in the game with TP, and I didn't know who he was. I had no idea who he was. And I think one of my teammates did or something, and like didn't say anything till afterwards. That, or he's just capping and pretending like he knew who he was or something. But there's this YouTube video of TP trolling me, because 10 years ago there's a YouTube video of TP trolling me, where he ended up dropping like 60 bomb in like hardpoint. It was standoff hardpoint on Black Ops 2. He ended up dropping 60 kills in the League play game, and he would keep grabbing the flag and capture the flag, but not capping it, and like purposely pulling away from it. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, my like whatever I am, 13-year-old self, 12-year-old self, and I'm like, TP, you have the flag. What are you doing? I'm like, this TP guy has a lot of gunny, but he really has no brain, like stuff like that. And he kept like trolling me, and I didn't know who he was. And so like,
my God,
this video keeps randomly popping up, and I keep showing it to people, and it's so funny, because it's like, now like I played a lot of tournaments with TP even in like 2020 and like early Warzone. So it's
oh my gosh.
It's just
funny
like
how that
somebody
happened.
found that clip. Someone found that YouTube video. Somehow.
Where is it now?
Like,
so it's on YouTube.
It's
so I can go
YouTube.
Yeah, TP uploaded it like 10 years ago, dude.
Yeah, you can look up on YouTube 60 bomb League play troll by TP.
All right, I'm totally gonna look that up. That is just so funny.
Dude,
that is
freaking
funny.
Hearing TP tell that story with Gary in the call, I think we were playing. It was just so funny, dude.
That's one of the most legendary videos. I'm gonna definitely be looking that one up. I'll probably post it too.
So funny. It's actually so funny. I just looked up. It only has 23,000 views, and it's just like somehow someone found that video and linked it to me like a few months after I had started playing with Teep. And I had like totally forgot about it. I didn't realize it was Teep at the time or whatever. And like, I'm like, no freaking way. So weird.
Big Bob, that was worth interrupting so that we could hear that story. 100%. That story is amazing. So
having something like that happen, that's crazy.
Yeah. So real quick, I mean, kind of going back to like you growing up, it sounds kind of similar to Bobby in a way, because everything is just pretty much the same. But Bobby, was working at a family company, and then he had to make that big leap into going full time. And we've talked about that. What was it like for you kind of getting into streaming, or what was the process like?
Yeah. So mine was, so I was actually, so here, let me start it from here. My senior year of high school, like like I said, I was always athletic and like lifted all throughout. Ever since my freshman year of high school, I lifted every single day. I'd use the high school gym, and my parents would pick me up like after the high school gym session or whatever you want to call it. But around my senior year of high school, towards the end, going into my freshman year of college, I started competing in powerlifting. I know Big Bob was very big in lifting as well. But I was competing in powerlifting for about a year and a half. And so I was getting super, super, super into lifting and whatnot. And then I got a certain job about halfway through my freshman year of college, and I got a weightlifting job. And no, what that's not at all. I don't know why I said that. I got a moving job. So I was like lifting stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, close
And
enough.
that's kind of like how like I'd be so sore all the time to the point where I wouldn't really be able to work out and like that because some days were like 13-hour days. You never know what you're gonna get yourself into when you're working a moving company job. Like
Yeah.
some days I'd get there and it would be a 4-hour day, super easy, light, hardly have to do anything. And then the next day I'd do like 13, 14 hours straight of just constantly moving back and forth. So like most of the time I didn't have enough energy to be able to like work out. And that's kind of how I stopped competing in powerlifting. Um, but I got money from that job to buy a PlayStation, and that's when I got back into like playing S&D again and whatnot. And then I reunited like POC, and that's when that was MW 2019 because I did kind of have like a hiatus when I was like lifting and stuff and like in my freshman year of college.
Well, dude, didn't you start playing for Dance on a PlayStation too?
Yeah, I
So
played
I met you with Blast, right? It was Blast, right? That's who it was.
yeah.
It
So
wasn't too much after that. Too much long after that.
yeah, me and Blast played a lot of S&D together. And
And
so like
Blast is Blast. Isn't he on LAG or he was
he's
on
rocker.
a
He
rocker?
was an LAG. He was an LAG on in MW 2019 for a pro player, but now he's signed to Rocker as a content creator, Warzone
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
So you always been Call of Duty? I mean, any other games that you were playing growing up, or were you just strictly a Call of Duty guy?
Basically just Call of Duty. I played Fortnite a little bit like when Fortnite was first released for the first like few months. I played a lot of wagers in sorry. I played a lot of wagers in Fortnite when that like first came out, and like that was really really fun. And I also considered myself very good at it, but it was just like they started adding a bunch of stuff to the game that made it not as fun for me and a lot of the wager scene, and that's kind of when like I stopped playing. I don't know really a time frame or what happened, but I did play Fortnite for a little bit, but other than that, it was mainly Call of Duty. I did play like GTA, kind of for fun with my buddies every once in a while. Um,
Any
yeah,
esports? Nothing like FIFA, because Big Bob was good at FIFA. I'll tell you that right now.
I played Madden a little bit.
Oh yeah.
My stepbrother would kick my ass in Madden a lot. I don't know. He wasn't a gamer at all, but he would play Madden and just always
He was
rock
good
my
at it.
world.
Sometimes those sports games, it's just luck. But Bobby, when you were getting into streaming, I remember asking if you were going to go into Fortnite, and then you were like, "No, too many people there. I'm going to go to Call of Duty." I mean, were you considering doing any other games like GTA? I mean, GTA is fun to watch you play, but like,
Yeah.
what made you pick Call of Duty other than the fact that you're dirt nasty at it?
Well, dude, so I talked about this. Well, it's been a while since we've talked about this, but like, dude, so
Right.
I tried streaming Fortnite. I had like 2,000 wins, like within the first couple, or within like the first year of the game coming out. I was like top 90 for wins at one point, and I was streaming all the time on YouTube, and I just saw how hard it was. I mean, it was really hard. Just Fortnite was not it. I mean, there was whatever I was doing, or I could not seem to make it work in Fortnite, and I wanted to stream and I wanted to be successful, and just Fortnite was not it. So I mean, the beta for Call of Duty Black Ops came out, and I loved it. And I mean, just kind of seeing the time. I mean, there was some guy named Alex Rami Gaming who had like the most wins in Fortnite, and there was some other people that just kind of made a name for themselves just by grinding the leaderboards on Fortnite. I was kind of just staying aware of that, and I was like, man, if no one, there's never been a Call of Duty battle royale. If I could just get in and just grind. And I mean, going back to like MW3, I told you I used to grind leaderboards. I was like number 6 in the world for on MW3, my lowest rank for the MW3 global search and destroy leaderboards. I was number 6. I was like Turtle Herd. That was my gamer tag. And this was while I was taking like 5 classes in college, like 15 hours. So I was like,
Yep.
if I can get number 6 in the world in Search and Destroy, which is like the best game mode in Call of Duty, while I'm in school, and there's no way if I grind my heart out and I have nothing, no other responsibilities that I cannot make this work. So that was my thought process on that.
Yeah. And when you got into gaming, I thought it was a no-brainer that, I mean, people just enjoy watching you. But when you first started off, were you more kind of going towards the way I'm gonna, make it in this industry is by grinding the leaderboard, or were you more interested in I'm just gonna be funny as hell and people are just gonna enjoy watching me? Like where was your focus at that time?
Well, so I've learned that on Fortnite, you could not be funny. It doesn't matter how funny you are. It doesn't matter how like you're just gonna have such a small platform. Like it just does not matter. So to really just to get outside of just this little social circle that I had to bust into the Call of Duty like worldwide ecosystem and doing that, my thought process was grinding the leaderboards. I mean, and people are obsessed with leaderboards. I mean, people always look at the leaderboards, and when you pull up the leaderboards and you see BobbyPoff Gaming, oh my God, he's number one. So that
Yeah.
gives you credibility already. That's going to make the people going to like, man, this guy's good at the game, and then they're gonna come to your stream, and then they realize then you're a goofball, you're funny, and you're entertaining and interactive, and then that's just like the icing on the cake. Then they're there to stay. So that was kind of my thought process. But just Fortnite was a complete eye opener for me. Like it's really hard to stream. I mean, I had to plan. Like after it was trial and error. I mean, I tried something for a while, it did not work, and then I looked ahead at the forecast on what games were coming out. And I've always been a huge COD fan, and I mean, it was almost like a business decision. I mean, in a sense, I mean, I had to think what
It
would work
is.
best for me, and I mean, I I sacrificed I sacrificed all of my time. I barely slept. I was fiending off caffeine. I'd sleep for just a couple hours and I wake up and I get back on the grind for 16 hours. I mean, I basically crippled my hands from playing fucking blackout all the time, but I mean, it was worth it. I mean, I don't regret anything, but that's how I got my foot in the door. Cause I mean, I'm sure Gary can vouch. I mean, it's not easy to just be a streamer, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
you
You
gotta,
can't just
there's,
turn to stream
Yeah.
on.
yeah, you gotta have a plan or an idea or somewhat of like
a,
goal.
a business. I mean, if you set a business plan and what you need to do, I mean, I would consider that literally just like a business, and you're the CEO and you need to decide where the company's going, what steps you're going to take. So what is it like to try to connect with other streamers? So let's say me, individual, I try to start getting into streaming. Is my best bet just to hope I get in a lobby with you guys, or are you like DMing people on Instagram like, hey, let's play? Like, how do you?
No, we don't play with.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I mean,
Interesting.
it's like high school. I mean, it's tough. I mean,
Just
we
clicks.
don't play with anybody. I mean, I'm very picky. I mean, lately I haven't even really been playing with Gary. I've just been playing solos just to get content for myself. But like, I mean, it's hard, dude. I mean, I don't even know how to answer that really. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I
you
mean,
just like
it's
Gary. You can kind of.
I don't know. It's just kind of like yeah. I'll reach out to Bob. Like me and Bob are like best buddies, and like it's so easy to text each other whenever we want to play. But that's just because I mean the main way that people like find more people to play with, I guess, and like connect with bigger streamers and whatnot is if their friends are playing with them. Like
Yeah.
let's say for example, like Bob's playing with Tim the Tapman, and Tim the Tapman has no idea who I am, and I'm like, "Yo, Bob, you guys need a third or a fourth or something?" And then Bobby would be like, "Oh, yo, you guys here if my buddy Gary joins or whatever?" And then let's say I
Yeah.
get in like that or something. That's just like an example, but
That's probably
um,
the best way to get in. I mean, because like
yeah,
you don't want to like. I mean, and also this is a business for us. Like, I mean, this is our business. Like where we conduct our business every day. And I mean, when who people you're playing with, I mean, that affects your business,
yeah,
whether you want it to or whether you don't want it to. So, I mean, when you got a lot of people watching you and you don't want to have just anybody come in there. And I mean, it's kind of like a
exactly.
rule of thumb. I mean, like especially if you're just starting off as a streamer, dude, don't ask. I mean, I don't. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, Gary was the same way. I mean, we have so many people watching us play. Like, if we played with everyone that asked us to play, it would literally
Yeah,
be everyone else's stream, not ours.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I mean, a good way to start is kind of like Gary said, or just by like trying to find someone that's like similar in your size or maybe a little bit bigger than you, and just try to I don't know, just be nice, friendly, and don't ask someone to play with you immediately. Try and like stop by their stream, be cool with them, chat for a little bit, and do that a couple times, and maybe if you want to reach in there and try and see if they want to play with you, just I
The
mean,
thing
I hate to
about,
say
like,
the worst thing someone's going to say is no, but
yeah,
there's a good chance they do say no.
But for the right reason, because again, going back to how it's literally a business, Bobby
Yeah.
Pop Gaming is a business, right? I wouldn't just, go apply for a job, assume that I'm going to get that job, because if I'm going to tag along and play with you, then it's kind of almost like you're picking me up, you're showing me the way at that point. And so I mean, as close as you and I are, Bobby, I wouldn't even think about asking you to game, because it's your business and it's literally like you're hiring me at that point, which is interesting. But I mean, how often are you guys playing together? Or how often were you guys playing together, a month or two ago?
I mean, it's kind of random. Like
Dude, it
sometimes,
literally goes back. Gary's in the
yeah,
tournament, so like if there's tournaments going on, I'm not playing with Gary.
yeah,
I mean, it kind of just depends, dude. I mean, like the solo. So we love Alcatraz, and Gary grinds Alcatraz, but he loves doing the tournaments. But I guess Caldera's gotten a little bit better to play. But I mean, I usually just play solo Alcatraz because it's like easy. I get like challenges, but I mean, don't get me wrong. You can't sit there and play solo Alcatraz for 12 hours
no,
a day.
you'll go
So,
insane.
I mean, it is good to just have I mean a variety of options for your stream. I mean the stream loves it when me and Gary play, because
Yeah,
especially when we
people
troll
love it.
randoms, dude.
Yeah,
The last couple games, dude, the drive through, dude, you honestly should watch that video, Gary. I
I
was
should, I
literally in
should.
tears. And then we have a pork and dude, so like I mean there's so many different ways. I mean it's we're entertainers to an extent. I mean we're doing our own thing for a little bit, you kind of keep it fresh. I mean me and Gary will play with Dirty, we'll play with some other people. And then honestly, one of my favorite things to do is troll randoms with Gary, because me and Gary just have really good, I don't know, we just go back and forth really well, and I think we understand each other, and we just know how each other, we just know he knows how I play and how I like interact with people, and I know the exact same way he does. So
Yeah.
when you put me and Gary in there with two random variables, I mean that could be there's
Yeah,
you never know what you're gonna
yeah.
get.
It's a large variety of of content that can be made.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
get interesting.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. But what about the time zone difference? Because Bob, you're getting on at like what, 7?
Bob is a
And then
degenerate. It does not
I'm a
matter.
degenerate.
you
Yeah.
try to tell people this all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
All
lately,
the time.
I've been sick, so Gary, I don't even think we played in like a week, dude.
No,
It's
we
probably
haven't
been
played
how
in like
long?
a
It's
week.
probably been
We've
like
kept
10
in touch
days.
a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've kept in touch a little bit, but yeah, Bob went out of town, and he's been sick. I've had a bunch of tournaments and stuff. I've been pretty busy recently too. And on top of that, I've been grinding so much that I've like kind of been
Another
dipping
good.
into other games towards the end of my
Yeah.
streams. Like I streamed like
Valorant.
330, or no, I hit like 338 or something like that for the month of May, hours streamed. And so I was kind of and that's like I took like 2 days off too. So the fact that I hit that many
11
hours while
hours a
taking 2 days
day.
off.
11 hours
Holy
a day on average
shit.
for the month with 2 days off. So that's like
Yeah.
what? That's like
You're hitting
A
a
sh-
lot of 14-hour streams.
A shit ton of hours. That's what it
Yeah.
is, Bobby.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
you
it
exactly.
can't, you
calculates
can't
out
play
to.
Warzone the whole time.
Exactly. And so we've been dipping into other games. For the most part, I think I still did like 300 hours on Warzone or something like that. It's just towards the end of my stream we dip it in like Valorant or stuff like that. And usually like I'll get on a little earlier than Bob, which is funny because he is 3 hours later. But I'll usually get on a little earlier than Bob, and play for a little bit, and then we usually link up towards the nighttime.
Yeah.
But with my schedule will be all over the place.
I'm
Usually,
not- we're both the same way. I mean,
yeah,
we really
exactly.
don't have a schedule.
Yeah,
Unless there's tournaments. Unless there's a tournament for you, that's when you got to plan.
So
exactly.
that's what I was gonna ask is forgive my ignorance, but you're on a team, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And so are you required to like practice a certain amount of hours, or like I'm very curious, like being on a team and you're playing in tournaments, how are you streaming and doing both? I mean, how does that
Yes.
work?
So it's not like that. That's kind of like with the
He's like on the Optic. I'm on the Optic Texas content creator. He's this LAG content creator for LAG.
so I'm
Got
basically
it.
signed to do exactly what I do, right?
Nice.
So I'm signed to just literally change nothing. And yeah, but there's still like the tournaments. I don't know if you ever watch Bob's tournaments or anything, but I mean it's the same thing like that. Like we'll just play random pickup tournaments where I mean I do have a squad, but we're all like none of us are on the same org, right? But I do have like the same people that I usually play with every single tournament, but it's not like we practice or anything. It's kind of like sometimes we'll do wagers, like 2v2 wagers, but you can't practice for custom tourneys.
And so are you just getting invited to these tournaments? Is that kind of how it works? Is you get invited, maybe like a message on Twitter or something, or what is the process for getting in these tournaments?
Email
or
usually,
Twitter.
sometimes Discord, very rarely Twitter.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, it's hard to get invited to these tournaments. I mean, I was invited to these tournaments when I was playing, but like now, I mean, if you're consistently playing in these tournaments and you're placing well, I mean, well, and Gary's like number 15 ranked on the Warzone.
Yeah,
He's got like 70K tournaments. So, I mean, that's pretty much just, I mean, any tournament that there's money involved, he's going to get an invite to most likely. And then, I mean, I don't know. There's very few chance. I mean, there's really not many tournaments you're not going to get invited to.
The Joe tourney that was recently, I didn't get an invite to, which was me or Scummin.
Well, you weren't a captain. You weren't a captain, but you
exactly. Yeah. We weren't a captain. So more than likely we'll both be like invited to tournaments, and usually we get captain spots, but this last
ideal scenario is Gary wants to be a captain so he can pick his best teammate, which is Scummin. But I mean, in that last situation, I mean, you still play with Mutex. So Mutex got a captain spot and he knows Gary's fucking nasty. So Mutex picked Gary. I mean, so I mean, you still play, but I mean, you probably would have been a little better off just playing with Scummin because you guys play all the time.
We just have a lot more chemistry.
Exactly.
That's all. Like Mutex was an incredible teammate, and is very, very good at the game. I just, it comes down to like chemistry. Me and Scummin know exactly how each other play and like what to do in certain scenarios and whatnot.
Do you guys try to like link up a few days before the tournament and kind of just get some rounds in? I mean, that's almost like a practice. Do you guys try to link up a little prior to it?
So usually what we do is we like, so they're like 2v2s where you're 2 versus 2 go into a quads lobby. Whoever gets the most kills wins, right? So we'll usually do like some wagers where we each put up like $100 or something. And basically we'll mimic the tourney format just in wagers with our own money. And like that's kind of like our way of practicing, and we'll do it usually a couple days before. I mean, sometimes we do it every single day. It just depends if wagers are popping or not, if there's people playing. But we have like a little group chat that we'll message in whenever we want to do wagers, and if there's anybody looking for a teammate or anything like that. So even if we're not practicing together, we still are practicing the general format.
And real quick, if you guys don't know what wagers are, so basically what it would be me and Topher on the same team, and then Gary and Scummin would be on the team, and we'd all get into the same lobby and we'd queue up at the same time. And depending upon the format, I mean, if it was a best of 5 or best of 3 or whatever, I mean, you can set the rules. I mean, we're all friends, but I mean, you're literally just playing for practice. It's whoever gets the most kills out of that one game. So I mean, if me and Topher dropped in, got 7 kills, died, and then Gary and Scummin got 8 kills or more, I mean, they'd win that round, but they'd go up 1-0. So I mean, you basically just play like 3 or 5 matches, and whoever gets the most kills cumulatively like per game, I mean, you win, and that's just easy to recreate.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's straightforward. So with golf, it's like the Masters is the tournament that you want to get invited to and you want to win. Is there a set tournament that like everyone wants to be a part of, or is there like a championship? Like, what is that kind of like?
Not really. I mean, we've had 2 World Series of Warzones, which is kind of just like it's kind of like, I guess you could say it's the tournament that people want to play in, because like they usually advertise it inside of the game, which is cool, but it's also not really as big. Like it's not their biggest tournament is the thing.
I feel like Warzone hasn't been around long enough. I mean, Warzone's been around for 2 years. Don't get me wrong. It's cool and all, but there's been so many tournaments within those 2 years. I feel like there hasn't been enough consistent. Like I feel like after a couple years, like golf has been out for a decade or a century, for a long time. But I feel like if Warzone gets more established, and like, I mean, there was like more of a schedule, because I mean, there's really no schedule. It's just hectic tournaments all the time. I mean, who knows? Maybe after a couple of years, I mean, they could have some sort of like Fortnite similar event, like where they just send everyone to New York and have a huge tournament like that. But as of right now, no. And I mean, honestly, Warzone's like, I love Warzone. I mean, Gary, you can agree or disagree, but I mean, Warzone's really not the most competitive game. I mean,
Gary, not at all. Not at all.
So I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, we really don't know what these guys are doing, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's always.
But they dish out a lot of money for tournaments, though.
That they do.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask, because I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, like 2 years ago, there was a young kid who won the Fortnite tournament. and it was like a lot of
$3
money.
million.
Oh,
Yeah, 3 million.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a ton, but that was for Fortnite. So like, is there like $1 million prize for Call of Duty, or what are the prize, or what does the purse look like?
It's usually completely random. I mean, I'd say on the smaller side is usually around 20,000, and on the bigger side is usually around 100,000. It's usually, I'd say that's let's say like 5,000 to 100,000 is kind of the range.
And and that's like split up. So like it's not all going to the winner. It's going to like the
Yeah.
first place team gets like maybe 40,000. The second place team gets like 20,000. The third place team gets like 10,000. There's like who knows. So it's like it's not one person gets 100,000. That's just a prize pool for the whole tournament.
I mean, it's still good money. I mean, you're making some people's salary just by winning a call. If you would have told that to both of you guys when you guys were like 15 years old, probably in high school, and been like, hey, if I win one tournament, I could make someone's, people's salary, that's really cool. I mean, you guys bust your ass for it.
There was one tournament, Gary, wasn't there one solo drop where the winner gets 100 stacks?
Yes, Scump one.
Yeah, there was. Scump, dude. Yeah, there was literally. This was back in Verdansk. It was. Wasn't it during the World Series of Warzone?
It was after the World Series of Warzone.
Yeah, so like the World Series of Warzone was like what was it, $500,000 pool, $400,000 pool, but like, I mean, it was all split up really differently. It was like 300,000 for the main event, and then there was one game of Verdansk. 150 people drop in, and the winner gets $100,000. And my teammates Optic Scump, who's arguably one of the greatest, undoubtedly a top 5 Call of Duty player ever. He
definitely the most well known.
Yeah, definitely the most. Yeah, he's done the best as far as like Hex is just the whole social thing and uploading and posting consistently, dude. I mean,
he's like the face of COD.
It literally is the face of God.
Like if there was ever an icon series in Call of Duty, Scump would be the first person.
100%.
And that was like Ninja was to Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting.
It's pretty crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good purse, and I mean, for him to win that, I mean, I can only imagine what happened. They just PayPal it to him, or how the hell are they dishing that out?
Assume a wire transfer.
Okay, I was gonna say, well, because Bobby, when you were doing your early on tournaments, I thought it was going to like a PayPal, or it was just like a Venmo.
They do that too.
It depends. It depends on if it's like who's hosting the tournament. Like if it's a smaller person hosting the tournament. Well, like in my instance, Keemstar, when I won Keemstar's tournament, he literally just PayPal'd me as soon as the game was over, and I was like, oh, 10 stacks, hell yeah.
That's okay. So the other tournament that you guys were referring to was almost like, I wouldn't call it corporate running it, but it was more of like a business setting it up versus like
100%. I mean,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's actually crazy though, because some of these, and some of them, dude, some of these guys pay slow as hell. So you'd be surprised. You win a tournament. I mean, dude, sometimes you have to go collecting money for tournaments. It's actually like, well, I've been out of the tournament scene for a while, but I mean, there was one tournament organizer. I don't know. I'm not mentioning any names, but I mean, I heard nothing. I did not hear any. I always heard that they paid people late. I mean, just because you win that tournament, I mean, it depends on who's hosting the tournament. It depends on who's the organizer. And then, I mean, it depends on who's paying you out as well, dude. Because I mean, sometimes you win a $50,000 tournament and you're owed $12,000. You might not get that money for 3 or 4 months, depending upon the situation. I mean, it's actually kind of Gary. Gary, you're probably still owed some money in tournaments, right? Or
I'm still owed $17,000 from one tournament.
Jeez. How long ago was that tournament?
Beginning of April.
I mean, that's 60 days. I mean, if you go to a business and you try and pay a net 60 days, what?
Yeah, that's really crazy. So sometimes you have to literally go after them to collect the money that you won being a part of their tournament.
100%. And then you need to make sure you get all the information needed, because when you got to go pay your taxes, you got to know. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. It's definitely a process.
That's why I say it a million times on the podcast. It's a business. You're going to collect your money. It's accounts. It's literally accounts receivable. You got to show it on taxes, and so it's a business. That's all that's to it. I want to go back to the streaming hours. Bobby, obviously you're East Coast. Gary, you're West Coast. Why are you streaming so late? I know why Bobby streams late, but you're West Coast. Why do you stream? Do you have a different audience?
Well, I mean, like I said, my schedule changes a lot. Like sometimes I'll get on at 8 a.m. and get off by like 8 p.m. So sometimes I'm not streaming that late, but sometimes it just seems like I just do what I want. Like I don't really base anything around anybody else at all. So I just do what I want. And I've always had a habit of staying up late. And so for the most part, when I want a later schedule, it's because I mean Bobby stays up really late too, and I'm having a good time playing with my friends. And
Yeah.
so that's just kind of I just want to play with my friends. And like I mean when I'm streaming, it's like yes, I'm entertaining and whatnot, but like at the same time, I just want to have fun with myself. So I mean I just enjoy playing with my friends, grinding and killing people, shitting on noobs.
Yeah.
So would you guys ever consider, waking up, streaming for 4 hours, chilling, going to the gym, doing whatever you want for the day and then hopping back on at night? I mean, that's kind of like how I did in high school during the summer. I play a little in the morning, come home at night, game again. Would you ever break up a stream, or is that just not
I
best
do that
practice?
sometimes, but it's not good. But I do that sometimes. The thing is that like usually the longer you stream, the more you collect like
Momentum.
momentum, and like you also get a lot of like viewers that will leave your stream open and whatnot. If you close your stream, you lose all of those viewers. And you always want your viewer count to be higher, obviously, because it reaches out to more people the higher that your viewer count is. So progressively, as there's more and more people AFKing your stream, I guess would be the best way to put it. Um, the longer it's going on, the more of those people you're getting, and then the higher your average viewer count is going to be. But if
And
you go
the
live again for the second time of the day, then your viewer count is 90% of the time always lower than the
Lower.
first part of the day.
100%.
That's interesting.
I mean, like Gary, when you got something going on and you're still trying to grind, like, I mean, you streamed for a couple hours, went out with your homies or was it last night, or I don't remember.
I
what
did
it
2
was.
nights ago.
2 nights ago. And
Yep.
then, yeah. So, I mean, something's going on. I mean, you make it work. We're still grinding. I mean,
Yeah.
and today, like I'm still sick, but I want to get on. I might stream for 2 hours, get off and get back on. But I don't know, man, just consistency and just like Gary said, the higher your numbers are, the easier on Twitch it is for people to find you.
Mhm.
Like, especially if you get a host or something. I mean, you get momentum and just people know you're there. Like, oh, I'll come by later tonight with a challenge or something. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, and it's not like, it's not like I mean, we're working, but it's not even really working for us. I mean, we're literally doing what we love doing. So, I mean, we're
Exactly.
just
Yeah,
riding.
but
We've been doing this for 15 years.
I gotta ask though, is does it feel like work some days? Like you
Oh, yeah.
you
After
have
like
to
8
go there?
hours, after a certain point, I think it always does, but not
But-
what do you think, Gary?
I was just gonna say that there's like hardly ever days that like we'll get on and I just immediately want to get off. I don't want to play whatsoever, and I'm like forcing myself to get on. Um, there is some days where I just like I kind of want to go back to bed, but I force myself to get up because I know that I need to stream. But it's not like I'm not like super like, oh my gosh, I want to get off and like I don't want to do this whatsoever. But there is days that I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna take a day off today because I don't really want to stream today, and I don't want to play video games today. I just want to go outside, have like a nice little mental reset, and I'll just do that. I don't know. So for the most part, I'd say like I stream when I want to stream, and it's not like I don't really force myself to do it, you know.
Yeah, this makes
Agree,
sense.
Bob.
And I mean, that means you get to have a flexible schedule and then you get to decide when you want to stream, which really must be nice. But at the same time, that could probably be a little bit of pressure where you're like, hey, I'm literally sitting here, I'm not streaming. You don't have to, but I'm sure that you still are thinking like, shit, I should probably be online. So it's kind of, you're setting your hours, but I could see there being a little bit of pressure of why you feel like you need to get on that night, because you technically
Yeah.
could be leaving money on the table because you're not streaming at that
Exactly.
time.
That's also like a bad mindset to have, which is the mindset that everybody has when streaming though. But it's just like think about somebody like me and Bob. Like me and Bob stream more than 99.99% of streamers, right? So it's just like
Yeah.
when we take that day off or whatever it
We
is,
really need it.
we really need it. Yeah. Because like
And
we
we don't even
have
do
that
anything.
grind
We just,
mentality.
yeah,
So it's
100%.
just
We
like
definitely have the grind mentality.
yeah, I feel like we're a little different than most people. when asking like we're not like your average streamer when it
Yeah,
comes to that.
not many people are putting up three. I mean, most people are doing like 250. I mean, not even
Not
many
even
people are
that.
doing
No.
two. I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about 250 hours a month, 250 divided by 30, what is that? That's still like 8 hours a day or something, Gary, or what is
Yeah.
that?
Most people do, I'd say, like 6 to 8 hours on
And that's
average.
every single day, no days off. And then once you're starting to push 300, that's 10 hours every single day for a whole month with no days off. So if you take a day off, that's 300 hours on 29 days. So you're looking at like 10 and a half hours every single day, or you're looking at plus that. So
Mm.
yeah, me and Gary definitely got the grind mentality. And I almost wanted to say something earlier, like with weightlifting. Like, I mean, it was kind of funny. I never really thought about this, but like weightlifting takes a lot of dedication
Mm.
and I can almost, it's just funny. I didn't really think of it until now, until we sat here and talked about it, that you just, I mean, I was realizing like not many people push those 300 plus hours a month consistently. And I mean, it seems like that's just another month for us, but like, I know
Yeah.
it's just kind of funny that like we both used to work out and I kind of can see that. I can kind of see
Yeah.
how it both led us to where we are now. Cause I mean, you need the same consistency, dedication and grind. I mean, doing the same
Exactly.
thing.
It's your work ethic. I mean, that's what really is important. I would love to see if they have numbers on Twitch of like, out of 1,000 people, 3 are going to make it, right? I mean, I don't really know these numbers, but I'm just saying theoretically. And I bet the reason those 3 make it is I bet they have the highest hours out of everybody. I understand there's so much skill that you got to get in, that you have to be entertaining, but it's almost like you need a certain amount of hours even to give yourself a shot because it's about
Well,
grinding at that point.
Well, to an extent, it's a little different for me and Gary because we're already established.
Mhm.
Right.
So I will say this: if you're just starting off streaming, do not do what me and Gary are doing. The
Yeah.
only reason why we're doing this is, I mean, well, we love doing this, but it works because we're established. You
Mhm.
will never grow on Twitch just grinding for 10 to 12 hours every single day. You cannot do that anymore. There's too many people on Twitch. You got to be taking advantage of YouTube. You got to be using TikTok. I mean, I'm sure Gary knows that. I mean, you got to use
Yep.
you have to upload on other platforms. But
That's it.
once you're
Same advice.
established, it's just it's different for me and Gary because we're established. But if you're just
Yeah.
starting off, I do not recommend doing what we're doing.
So my assumption was completely off, where it doesn't even matter. Obviously, you got to put in hours. At end of story. If
Oh,
you're
100
gaming, you
yes.
have to put in hours. But that's really interesting. You're saying you just got to go on all the platforms, start, getting people to actually be able to find you. I mean, TikTok's new, but are there rules? I mean, if you're on Twitch, can I go and stream on different platforms or?
It's kind of a gray. Well, dude, it's a gray area. I'm partnered on Twitch, and you're not allowed to stream on any other platform. But I mean, Gary, have you seen how many people stream on TikTok while they're on
Yeah.
Twitch?
I see it all the time, and I've always been curious about that.
Yeah,
But
so I mean, I was thinking about, I mean, I don't know, it's a really gray area and people are getting away with it right now. I mean, I've thought about doing it. I should be doing it because I'm missing
Yeah.
out. But yeah, you can be streaming on well, you can. I mean, people they're not-
right.
you can't, but people are and they haven't had any repercussions.
And
But
so it's basically a gray area right now, almost
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
loophole because TikTok, I
100%.
mean, you look at people's TikToks, they have, I mean, Bobby, aren't you like, how many TikTok followers do you have?
Like almost 200,000. And that's like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even stream on I just upload videos to TikTok and I'm sure Gary TikTok is probably your second or biggest audience too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's my second biggest, I think. Yeah. I'm at like 70,000 on TikTok.
Dude, yeah. So
Gosh.
I mean TikTok for both of us. And that's kind of like you're going back to like the grind. Like if you're smaller, like I mean, you still need to put the hours in, don't get me wrong, but you just don't need to put the hours in streaming. Like you stream for 4 hours, 5 hours, get all this content, and then spend several hours more uploading it and then picking and choosing how you want to upload it or how you want to edit it to maximize your output on that video. So I mean, it's just a grind regardless. I just wanted to throw that in there as well.
Yeah. I mean, TikTok, if you go viral with one video, I mean, that kind of changes your followers. That changes a lot just because Big Bobby had like a 2 million view.
Dude, yeah, and me and
something
Gary
like
were making
that.
those. Dude, me and Gary actually did both those videos, or we were
Yeah.
doing them together, right? The blueprint videos, the
Yeah,
loop.
that's what it was.
Yeah, like anytime. Oh, and anytime there's an update come out, dude, you got to be pumping out content on those updates. A prime example, I mean, an update came out on Alcatraz, and it was the weapon blueprints, and then it was getting into the bunkers and the secret key codes. I mean, we found. I think actually someone told us how to do it. And then we ended up doing it. And we both made our own clips. And I mean, mine went viral, and I'm pretty sure Gary's, you got a couple 100,000 views on.
Yeah, I got around 100,000 on that one, I think. And I know most of those videos that we did, I got at least like 100,000 views on those, which is still really, really good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, TikTok just seems like a great marketing tool. I mean, it's
100%.
much easier to go viral on TikTok than it is on some of these other platforms, which is crazy. Now, I was talking to my best friend last night. He was over, and I was looking at, Gary, your Instagram, and then he told me, he said, no, like a lot of the gamers really communicate on like Twitter, and Twitter seems to be it. So Twitter is the preferred, I mean, not just communication, but like, why is that? What's the difference there?
I don't know. That's just the way it's been.
Twitter's just easy to use all around, I guess. I mean, Twitter just has a little bit of everything. You can post photos if you want. You post your updates. You post your your Twitch, and you have like your timeline, right? Instagram's kind of just for photos, so Twitter's just got a little bit of everything, I guess, is probably why.
Yeah, so when you're trying to well, me and Gary will usually text each other or hop into each other's chat since we're so close. But like, I mean, if we were playing with anyone else, I mean, if someone else if one of our homies wanted to join us, they would 100% hit us up on Twitter, message us. But then when we're playing, we use another program called Discord that's where we use our voice chats. Discord's also pretty dope as well.
I love Discord. We actually use it at work, and it's amazing. And I'm in some other channels for like the day trading ones just to keep up. It's just fun to watch it, but Discord's a game changer. It's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Between Discord and Twitter, that's like the main. Discord is where we chat, like where you'll hear us talking to each other. And then like Discord is like where we send messages, or sorry, then Twitter is where we send messages to each other. I'm losing my mind, bro. This COVID.
Mr. Bobbito. Now, there's one of Bobby's yelling moments for today's podcast. I posted last night on Instagram. A lot of people had a lot of questions, which we're not probably going to even be able to get to, like I told you. But there was something Swedish, Bobby, that you wanted me to bring up. I don't know what's going on here. Can someone just tell me what's going on here?
Yeah. So yeah, basically with the Swedish thing, I'm gonna go over this. Is we were playing, me and Tupac, the Atlanta Phase S&D coach, talked about him earlier in this podcast, but we were playing late night. I think it was already on for like 13 hours, and we were just playing some late night search and destroy. So a lot of times I'll mess up my words, and like I'll stutter, or I'll say like the first letter of the first word that I'm trying to say in the second word, and like the first word of the second word will come into the first word. Like words just mix up somehow. I don't know what happens or what it is, but words mix up somehow, especially when I'm later in my stream. Like my brain just goes whatever, you know. But basically I killed someone, and then I tried calling out in English. I tried calling out what was happening or whatever.
We have to add this audio to the video. Is there any way we can add this audio to the clip, Topher? Or Gary, can you?
No, I'll take over. I'll do that. No problem, Bobby.
Hey, we'll send you the link of this video, and maybe you can put it in there. But like Gary, honestly, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Gary, but it's literally, you can't even replicate it. I mean, it's so funny, dude.
Cannot. I just randomly called out, and it sounded like a random. What it sounded like to us was like we were both like, what just happened? We're like, what just happened? What did you just say? And then Pac like made a tweet, and then he was like, oh dude, Gary just spoke Russian or something like mid-match on accident. And then somebody in one of his followers ended up commenting, he was like, no, that's actually Swedish. And then like,
no.
And it was like, wait, what? And then like I tweeted it out, and it was like, wait, like this is Swedish or something. Like it got confirmation from like a bunch of people, and then I also recorded the video of me going on Google Translate and looking up exactly what I said and having it play through like the Google Translate microphone, and it sounded exactly what I said. And we're just like, what? Because I actually just spoke Swedish, and exactly what I said meant what I was doing on the map, which is so weird because I don't speak Swedish at all. Right? English is my.
I don't even know if Swedish was a language, dude.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh! So what you said literally matched up in Swedish, and that is crazy. I mean, It's like a 1 in a billion chance of that ever happening. That is
that's
insane.
never ever gonna happen again. It's
Yeah,
like
people keep asking
yeah.
him. Wait, real quick. There's 2 more things I wanted to ask Gary. Can we ask Gary 2 more things? Can we, Gary?
course.
Who's your biggest crush in esports? Is it FaZe Kaylee? Is it Sunday? Or is it Dirty?
Dude. Okay, obviously it's dirty.
Oh, dirty.
It's
So
obviously dirty. Come on.
dirty.
Obviously it's dirty. I feel like that's a simple answer.
Okay. And then I had one other question, bro. It's just, do you enjoy pork and beans?
Oh,
The world wants
wow.
to know, Gary, do you enjoy pork and beans?
Pork and beans.
Pork and beans.
I love pork and beans. Pork and beans.
Pork and beans. Pork and beans. Pork and beans.
Pork and beans. Pork and beans. Pork and beans. Pork and beans.
Pork and beans.
Pork and beans. Pork
Did
and
somebody
beans.
say pork and beans? That's how we usually troll people, and we literally
So pork and beans was like an inside. When I read that last night, I was so confused. Is that
dude pork
what
and beans,
what just happened?
dude? It was a random dude. So me and Gary, it was me, Gary, Dirty. We queued up into a game, and we had some kid on our team named Pork and Beans.
An actual kid.
And his gamer tag, the name was Pork and Beans, and people literally hold on, Gary, you take over, keep talking, Gary, you explain it.
Okay, so basically what happened is like me and Bob love messing with our random teammates, and this is like some kid named Pork and Beans, and so we're like, yeah, he's gonna have no idea if we are using our Go XLR or anything. So we'd throughout the entire match, we were literally we just kept saying pork and beans, or like spamming our buttons like pork and beans. We'd do like random stuff like that, and we're like, hey, pork and beans. Can you go buy a UAV real quick?
No way.
And we just kept like trolling him. We'd like turn our auto tune on and like start singing pork and beans. And like throughout the entire match, we were just screaming pork and beans. And it was really, really funny.
No way, Mr. Bobby. This is like a real thing.
Yeah.
This is like a real thing.
Well, bro, hold on. So, dude, so someone in my chat loved it so much. Like, literally, they loved it. Like, people were going all over the place. So, literally, I went to my P.O. box, and I go in there, and I literally see that I have a tank top that just says pork and beans. Like, it's literally just the funniest thing ever.
That is crazy. Last night, like I was saying, I was with my best friend, Marco. We were watching the Oilers game, and I was just kind of scrolling through all of the questions that were just posted. I was like, pork and beans. I was like, it's like, why the fuck did someone just ask that? And that actually means something, which was, that is absolutely mind blowing. Was he catching on? Like, was he getting it, or was he just kind of like?
Dude, by the time he was singing it. He's like pork and beans.
Yeah, he just started.
Wait, is there a video of this or something?
Yeah,
it's on Bob's YouTube.
Oh boy, I might have to.
I think at one point we were like, what do we want for breakfast? Pork and beans. What do we want for dinner? Pork and beans. What do we want for dessert? Pork and beans. Breakfast. Pork and beans. Dinner. Pork and beans. Pork and beans. I want my pork and beans.
That is amazing. Oh my gosh. He's like a legend now. He doesn't even know it, but he's literally a legend.
The most commented thing in my chat is pork and
yeah. People keep every single day.
I literally get on and just pork and beans. Like, I'll literally just see this typed in my chat 100 times a day.
Oh my gosh, that is the most amazing thing. Well, boys, we are about to wrap it up. We always know we like to gas up the socials, Gary. You got to tell everyone where they can follow you at.
Yeah, so I'm at UnRationaL on TikTok and Twitch. On Twitter and Instagram, I am XUnRationaL.
Duck your head a little bit.
Yeah. No. So people can see it behind you. Yeah. We got the UnRationaL, baby.
Yeah.
Mr. Bobbito, can you put some gas on that real quick and tell us exactly where the boys should follow you at?
All right, hold on. But first, twitch.tv/UnRationaL. He plays on all the big tournaments. If you guys are seeing any big Warzone tournament come up, stop by Gary's channel. I can guarantee you that he's going to be in there, and he's going to be taking some cash from some dirty little bots.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You guys can make sure you guys subscribe on the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We're going to have more guests on here soon as well. You guys know where to find me on Twitch, on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, the works, the hub,
I love it, boys. We are over and out. Catch you guys later.
Topher, thank you, brother. Love you, Topher. Love you, Gary.
Later, guys.
Bye.